Hi, Shameless Squad. What is up? I'm so stoked to do this video for all of you, with all of you being here, boo. So thank you for supporting the channel. If you are new, I need you to smash that subscribe button, boo. I know that my videos, y'all are watching them. New subscribers, there's about 5,000 around. Come into this account here specifically, okay? So let's talk about this. Thank you all for the 2 likes right off the bat. And hello to everyone in the chat here. Your secret superpower, Neptune in Aries, all 12 signs, predictions, and astrology here. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, Shameless Squad. I am not going to rush this video whatsoever. There is so much happening specifically with this sign, this placement. Are all of our placements here specifically based on our rising sign? Feel free to check your sun and moon too, boo. But something that I want to make sure that all of you see on this super chat here is my goal here specifically, which is, let's see, out of everyone here, for the astrology collective, whomever gets the most super chats specifically, I will do your read first this week. So make sure that you definitely check out the goal that I have. I also put that information in the chat specifically. So I created the goal here overall. If y'all want me to go live sooner with your reads, let's see who gets the most super chats, and put your zodiac sign here, the sign you want me to do the read for first, and I will do it first. So the more people that do the super chats for a specific sign, the sooner I will get reads out to. But let's talk about this, boo. There's a lot happening here, and maybe a lot of you have really felt this energetic shift and kind of feeling like, I don't know what's happening, but something's happening. Some of you might be like, why are people so buck AF right now? There's more of that to come. Unfortunately, with Neptune and Aries, it is going to really show a lot of those things specifically. And for those of you that are new, what up? I am Shamelessly Sexy Jackie. I am a psychic medium, and I use astrology, spirituality, tools of tarot, and psychology, and all these different things in my personal training here, because yes, I am a certified sex therapist, and I am turning into a sexual confidence coach with that specifically. So astrology is really a beautiful tool for our shameless self-care, be that to understand our sexuality, be that to understand our spirituality, money, finances, career, whatever here. But I'm definitely wanting to give you all as much information as it comes to Neptune and Aries as possible. So it just shifted. Neptune was in Pisces for the past 14 years, and we saw a lot of different things happening here overall. That is Pisces ruled planet here, is Neptune specifically. And so there's a lot that I really am going to share with you when it comes to this information astrologically. This is something where, hello Erdem, hello everybody in the chat here, definitely hit the like button too. Let's get the likes up, the views up, all the things up, loves. But what we're going to talk about in this video, you can watch the astrology, all 12 signs, fortunes, horoscopes, everything like that, specifically all about how that's going to influence your rising sign, who you are, you know, how you identify, how you come off towards people here specifically is really what rising sign kind of energy is. It is the most accurate when it comes to astrology and birth chart reads and everything like that. So I invite you to watch your rising sign. You can check out your sun and moon too. Your sun is going to be more so like your purpose, your career, and your moon is going to be more so like your intuition, your feelings, what might be coming up and bubbling up for you too as it comes to this specifically here, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over dates specifically with Neptune and Aries. We're going to talk about what this means moving from Pisces energy, and we're going to go over the light and the shadow when it comes to Piscean energy versus Aries energy. We're going to do that for both. We're going to talk about specifically what to understand with the 12th house energy when Neptune was in Pisces here specifically. Some more information to just kind of reflect on, take note of, and all of that. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about Aries energy and what that means, as well as first house energy, the divine masculine energy, the divine feminine energies, irregardless of gender. We all have them. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about some different things in regards of tarot, all 12 rising sign fortunes, what your superpower is, my advice and feedback specifically on how to navigate this shift here overall. So there's just so many goodies in this video, and I'm also going to share like my lived experience of how this has literally been playing out for me today too here. So if you are new, make sure to smash the like button. It's completely free to you, and make sure to hit subscribe. I know about 38% of y'all are not subscribed, and 5,000 of you are new booers. I love that. You can be a new boo here on my channel. But new viewers here, okay? So definitely it's free to you. Help support the channel grow, boo. So let's talk about this specifically with the timeline. So March 30th, over this past weekend, yesterday, Neptune went into Aries here specifically. We will have a Neptune retrograde in July later on this year. And then Neptune will re-enter Pisces later on this year, which is why I think it's so important to talk a little bit more about specifically Neptunian energy and Pisces energy, because we are going to be traveling backwards in the future here, okay? So like time machine kind of energy. And then we have it going back into Aries, specifically staying there at the beginning of January next year on the 26th, and it'll be there through May 22nd, 2038 here. So let's talk about Pisces energy versus Aries energy. So Pisces energy, the light side of it really is all about compassion and empathy and a deep understanding for people out there collectively and their emotions specifically. It's intuition, it's creativity, it's art, and it's other forms of just expressing oneself. It is also a very much so like a spiritual mystic kind of depth here vibe, like trying to seek like deeply like the answers that might be out there in the universe and really connecting to higher self sources. It's very dreaming. It's a calming presence. It's all that kind of energy too. And this is something where it's so imaginative that it can be very nurturing and also tap into subconscious psyche here specifically overall. Let's talk about the flip of it though. The shadow side of Pisces specifically here is escapism. It's numbing. It's TV scrolling, binge watching, alcohol, drugs, like numbing with anything, dopamine hits. It's also avoiding life situations here, reality, what's difficult, and or like someone being in their own little world here and just like off and like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. It's also difficulty with boundaries specifically. And this is also like playing oneself in the game of life. So this can be, oh my gosh, I just played myself. Oh my gosh, I gaslit my intuition. Oh my gosh, I betrayed myself in this setting or situation here. And it can also lead into some martyrdom, self-pity, or even victimization, or even just being overly generous and giving to people here overall. And it's something where you might, when we had Neptune in Pisces, where we might have noticed ourselves, depending on where that was going on in our charts, really sacrificing ourselves for other people, okay? It also is emotional instability. It's confusing vulnerability with illusion, and it's also people preying on this. So it's difficult to really discern when Neptune is in Pisces specifically, like what's fake and what's real, like what's the truth and what's the reality in this situation, and is that like actually what happened here? So it's kind of like question mark energy here specifically. So let's talk a little bit about 12th house energy though, because yes, it is all that stuff that I similarly just described with Pisces being, that 12th house type of vibe and energy here, but it is also shadow aspects. It is also subconscious. It is also psyche. It is also programming. It is also prisons and hospitals and mental health. And it is also secrets and delusions and illusions, thinking, oh my gosh, I can totally trust that person. And then we do. And then we potentially get played or gaslight ourselves here. And Pisces energy and Neptune in the 12th like energy house is also like illusions, where we so bad want to believe in that magic, that person, that place, that thing, when it's really not there. And so I'll talk a little bit about that more here, but this is also something where if you were to reflect on the past 14 years and where your rising sign or even your sun and your moon or even your Neptune, what houses those were in your astrological natal birth chart, those could be key indicators of stories and cycles that you might have been dealing with these types of energies and things being hidden where maybe people wanted them to be hidden from you. And now it's kind of like this energy of people, it's moving into areas where people are going to be more assertive, more advocating for themselves. So let's talk about the light side of Aries specifically here. This is Aries being being bold. And this is, Aries are really bold, taking initiative, taking action, being a leader, moving forward, trying something, like F it and find out kind of energy. It is kind of the vibe of like, let's get down to business, like so excited, so happy, so eager to start something new specifically. And this is really like having a lot of fun and excited energy. And also seeing things like that are being presented to you, like new opportunities, new ideas, new whatever it might be that you are receiving, like being really excited and enthusiastic about it here. It's fun energy. And this is also kind of like going where no one's gone before. It's venturing out into new territories here specifically, which I personally love. I think that's very beautiful. And it's also not as comfortable in Neptune, but we'll talk about this in particular. But this is being passionate about this. This is moving forward with this. And this is having a lot of high energy levels, as well as being a leader, a motivator, but also advocator for oneself. So one of the big reasons why I wanted to title this video, like Your Secret Superpower, because this is where we are literally trying to shine a light on, like, where's that secret superpower, in your birth chart in regards of advocating for yourself or your rising sign here, right? Depends on your transits, everything like that. But it's about being courageous and confident and bold to ignite that spiritual sovereignty as well, moving forward with a lot of these things. Let's talk about the shadow side of Aries though, because I feel like this is important to know, because you will see this come out in people. And, as people here, we are, psychology talks about this as the psychology side of Jackie here, okay? If you don't know, cool. If you do, you do. But psychology actually shows us that we remember things that are negative that happen, to other people or that we encounter or whatever it might be, because it's so easy for the brain to be negative. And so this is something where it might be so easy to pick up on these kind of shadow side energies, but I also want to say, with a grain of salt, we have to be mindful of how this might be coming up for ourselves too, myself included. And so this is the shadow side of Aries energy, is impulsiveness, rashness, making quick decisions without considering like any consequences to one's actions. This is also rashness in like words and not thinking before you speak here. And so you're going to see people just say stupid shit. It's like the easiest way I can describe it. And this is like something where they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even realize what I just said after I said it here, right? And it can also be with Aries shadow energy. It can also be neglecting other people's perspectives, ideas, or even being stubborn with that in particular and wanting to put themselves first in the pursuit of their goals, because it is that me energy of the collective here. And it can be hard for Aries, like the shadow self. It's because it's going to face setbacks. And so Aries is very impatient. And so that can be really, really challenging. So taking constructive criticism from other people can be a little bit difficult here overall. So you're gonna see people act out of shadow, because it's so easy to notice when these shadow parts of ourselves or others are actually illuminated here. And so it's important to be mindful of these teachable moments here overall specifically. Now let's talk about like the first house energy, because that is Aries energy, right? It is ruled by Mars here. And this is also the first sun sign of the astrological calendar. So astrologically, like I was saying, this is asking us to pay attention to what we are being called to pay attention surrounding our own superpower, where that light is being shined on in the birth chart, to take action on, to advocate for ourselves, and to move forward specifically. And this is like create the magic from your superpower that's there, that the universe is really calling you to pay attention to here overall. And so when we're moving from like 12th house energy to first house energy, that's very different. That's things are hidden are going to come to the light. Let me say that again. Moving from 12th house energy into first house energy astrologically with whole sign houses, right? Things that are hidden are going to come to the light. It's literally like a reboot astrologically with Neptune and Aries starting over at its first zodiac baby sign in the calendar here, okay? So this is important. Pay attention to this. So you could experience potentially too, like you might think quicker on your feet here, which is also good to be mindful of responding and not reacting. These hidden mysteries of 12th house people, places, things could be exposed, reveals, and even shown you where people could have been working out of shadow, the lowest octave of Neptune energy or Pisces energy, versus the highest, which is like collective spirituality. This is forgiveness. This is a lot of love. This is a lot of compassion here. And when it's at its lowest octave, this is literally people scamming you energetically. So it's scamming you in the sense of you so bad want to believe them. And then after the fact, you're like, wait, what just happened here? Like, what was that? And with 12th house energy specifically being about mental health, about prisons, about subconscious, about psyche, about different types of things in those areas. Unfortunately, a lot of people in those types of industries may be exposing themselves secretly here. Okay, so it asks us to also pay attention to some of these things, moving from the divine feminine energy of that Piscean energy, because water signs and earth signs are the feminine energy, and the fire signs are the masculine in the air, and we all have this in our birth chart collectively with the houses, and it's moving from divine feminine to divine masculine with Aries. And so I want to talk about that specifically here overall when it comes to what that means, because I know I talk about it a lot on this channel here, but I haven't necessarily discussed that. But first, I want to talk about how this came up for me personally today. Now, I don't know if y'all saw my post underneath my community tab here. I'm going to get a sip of water because this is going to be a long story, y'all. Or a sip of Poppy, okay? Cheers, Poppy. So I want to tell you all a story today that literally this Neptune and Aries fiery energy came up. And this is something where I want to preface that I don't wish this person any ill. I don't wish them harm. I just really wish for more people to advocate for themselves. And that is what Aries energy is teaching us. So I had made a post under my community tab today that I really just felt the urge and the desire to call out the language that people are using in regards of coaching and therapy and retreats and different buzzwords nowadays, and how it can be unethical to do certain types of things on retreats, and it's important to be mindful of our language here, right? So I wrote up this post, and I wrote up something in regards of like, coaching wouldn't even be here if it weren't for therapy, right? Because psychology had been starting centuries ago with research and all this different stuff. And so I shared that post to my Facebook specifically here. And there was a therapist who is also a coach here who had mentioned, I agree with much of this. However, the statement, without therapy, coaching would not exist, deserves a fact check. And then had mentioned different types of things, how like coaching, the model of it was in 1971 and whatever. And for those that don't know, therapists specifically get trained in theories about the different waves of psychology and how therapy had started in the 19th century. And so I'm just like, what the heck? And so I shared different, articles, different receipts, you're going to come, I'm going to give you the receipts here, and I'm just going to show you this, right? And so that's something where I just said this person, I've read for coaching that it started in the 80s and the 90s and the 20th century here. This person comments back and says, but the history of life coaching, I believe, rose from the human potential movement of the 1970s. In parentheses, I was there. It's a great research topic anyway. I wrote back, I'm glad you were there, and it's a great topic, and psychology theories were prior to that, so that's where I'm coming from. It would be great if there could be a lengthy timeline of the history regarding types of coaching models and when they originated here specifically, right? Just like the therapy in these theories. And then other therapists commented and they were like, yes, 100%. Yes, well said. Yes, this is important. And I was sharing this information as a teachable moment to really have coaches and therapists not do more harm than good when it comes to some of these things, because I've literally seen so many people who are coaches label themselves as a trauma coach when that's an oxymoron, and that's literally more appropriate for therapy specifically, right? And everyone's going to do them at the end of the day. I just felt the need and the call to advocate in regards of someone who has been trained as a therapist, who still has their license but is not practicing, and is still just advocating for the field, because that is the ethical, moral thing that we are taught to do here, and it's about integrity. And so I thought about this and I reflected on this, and this person who was older than me, this person who's in a woman-dominated field, had also said these different things and whatever, and I just thought about it and I was like, this is not right. And I was like, I need to advocate for this. And I see through the BS of this comment here, even if they didn't mean any harm, I still felt like this is not okay to say I was there, as in to assert yourself as if you were right. And just because you were there at certain points and times in history, does that mean you were doing anything about it? Does that mean you were helping? Does that mean you were teaching? Does that mean you were advocating? Does that mean you were stopping things? Does that mean you were showing up for what was morally right? Okay. And so I wrote back, I just need to morally comment on this, because I don't think it's fair to use age in any situation as privilege. This is what staying shameless is about, speaking up for myself. Just because you were there doesn't mean you were right. Ageism has come up so much in my life, and some people want to challenge me because I am younger or I wasn't there for things historically when I've done my research. Is that because they're threatened? Is that because they have something to prove? Is that because they assume, oh, she's young, what possibility could she know? Shadow work is a key tool to not only use when looking at others' projections, but our own shadows, myself included, which for those of you that are more spiritual on my channel, shadow work is such a buzzword in the spiritual community here too, and that has roots in psychology. So Carl Jung, shout out to you, boo, because we give credit where it's due, and I don't think a lot of people actually study and really understand all of that, and so it's one of those things for everyone to be mindful of. And then I continued to write, Assist reads, Assist does her research, Assist has been called a walking encyclopedia, Assist challenges things that she sees that are not morally right and discusses. Assist gets challenged by appearingly, because I don't want to assume older women, appearingly, and in the therapy field and out. This is a problem that needs to be addressed in all and any fields here, right? And so I never met this person, never had a conversation with them, right? And 4 other therapists liked my comment back, and that is Neptune and Aries energy. It is advocating for ourselves. And Neptune and Pisces in the past previously, that would have been something like, just let it go, let it slide, whatever, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm gaslighting myself, maybe I'm gaslighting my intuition or my spidey senses here. And so then this person wrote back, I was being silly because there was a goofy emoji and it was a wild time, and cue my disco and hot tubs. That's all really. I also said I could be wrong, happy to delete my comment as I meant no harm. And so I was just sharing back, I think it's a great learning, teachable moment for anyone who sees the intention not equaling impact and soak it in. Totally get the no harm and knowing me. And now that you have, I am a real bee in a fake AF world. I don't tolerate stuff like that despite intention. I got to practice what I preach with my brand and teach people how to treat me. It's easy to do the talk and challenge a therapist asking about a time frame, then saying I was there. And now you know where I am coming from too. Doing the walk is keeping up and using it as a learning moment for us all. And so Shameless Squad, the whole reason why I'm even sharing this information with you is because the 12th house is the psyche. You could have experienced maybe in the past 14 years different things potentially, and again, more people than other who's ever had that in their 12th house specifically. Maybe it just not the best relationships, be it with therapists or people in psychology field or spirituality field or even healthcare or prisons or different types of things. Healthcare is a little bit more so, Virgo kind of energy and stuff, but this is something where I just wanted to illuminate this because this was spirit being like, That's the light turned on right there. And that's what Spirit wants to shine a light in everyone's birth chart, specifically just showing everyone based on their rising sign. And quite frankly, I won't be surprised if more people just get exposed with who they are, how they're showing up in their energy, with this literally moving into Aries, the first house, the first astrological sign of astrology. And so we had this energy of like Neptune and Pisces, where you so badly want to believe that this person has that thing to help you. This person's going to fix your problem. This person is going to, do whatever because they're caring, they're loving, they're compassionate, they're whatever. And you probably maybe experienced that didn't happen. You could have experienced, potentially self-betrayal, betrayal of intuition, maybe even lies and manipulation and deceit and even scams here. And so if you were to think back to the past 14 years, y'all, like, I would not be surprised if a lot of you were like, wow, I got scammed here. Wow, I got scammed there. Wow, this came up here. And now, because we're going into this fiery divine masculine energy, Spirit, universe, source, astrology is calling us not to just be and sit back anymore. It's about taking action in the moment and staying shameless in whom you are as a person here, okay? So that was the story I wanted to tell you here specifically. And let's talk about the divine feminine energy. This is Pisces energy, which you could have experienced maybe people, being in aligned divine feminine energy or misaligned for the past 14 years. Or even this could just be in general, but I do want to talk about this. So traits of the aligned divine feminine energy, it's nurturing, it's supportive, it's caring, it's resilient, it's forgiving, it's creative, it's gentle, it's just very sensual, it's very kind, and it's very flexible and strong and compassionate and collaborative and very, very, very wise. And the focus of this is really to embrace vulnerability. It's also to trust one's intuition and prioritize it, and also have empathy for others. And also, it's more so about emotional intelligence, right? And so this is something where if people are lacking compassion moving forward and emotional intelligence moving forward, don't be surprised if you see people with Neptune and Aries like cutting people off because of that, because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the god of war. It ends, it lets go, it cuts ties, it releases, it sheds here. And with the divine feminine energy, the power of this is to specifically be very fierce in where you're going and moving forward into what it is that feels like a nice flow here, right? It's not forced kind of vibe or energy. And it's also being unapologetic in who you are specifically, and not using that power over other people to get them to trust you. The actions are really action oriented to experience joy rather than outcomes. And this is seeking self-mastery, but more concerned with like being able to give to the greater good in harmony, okay? Let's talk about the distorted divine feminine energy. And again, you might have more divine masculine energy in your birth chart, divine feminine energy in your birth chart. And so I just invite all of you in the future to just pay attention to these traits, pay attention to these things, and really just kind of slow down and reflect on some of this stuff here overall. I'm going to get some water. Definitely make sure to smash the like. I see 8 in the chat. Let's definitely smash the like button, y'all. Okay, distorted divine feminine energy. So pretty much the opposite of aligned, right? So the traits are really drama, inner emptiness, victimhood, selfish motives, getting ahead for one's own benefit here. It's codependency. It's also creeping on people. It's also lack mentality. It's also excessive, like a tendency to blame others rather than take responsibility for oneself here specifically. And the focus is a lot of times it will be a person or people in a distorted divine feminine energy that's seeking external validation from other people's. So it's very superficial. It's very fake. And this can also include, let me try to control you by using my emotions to manipulate you here. Or let me try to get you to think, what I think here in order for you to side with me or agree with me. So it's like mental emotional mind games. And it's really something where people might be conflict avoidant. People might run away from conflict. People might say like, F that, I'm out here. And with the divine feminine energy that's distorted, that's not going to work anymore. We are in Aries. It's not going to work anymore. People are going to fight you and manage conflict with you. And I mean, so fight more so as in try to manage conflict with you as best as you can. Like, it is not going to work to fight, flight, freeze, fawn. The only thing that's going to work is to fight through it. So we all need to learn how to regulate our emotions. We all have to focus in on being able to not cling to past relationships out of like selfish reasons in regards of because we were connected to them emotionally, even if this person wasn't unhealthy, because that's a very Piscean kind of distorted divine feminine energy. Thank you all for the 3 likes. Definitely smash the like button, hit subscribe if you are new. But let's talk about divine masculine energy, misaligned and aligned when it comes to this whole Aries type of energy, because I feel like this is very, very important. So the aligned divine masculine energy, which is being empathetic and compassionate and able to connect with other people's experiences and their abilities to understand. It's also being able to go and move forward and do and take steps and really be in this leadership role and this authority of one's life here overall. It's also very honest and it's very authentic. And quite frankly, y'all, a lot of people don't like honesty because they're insecure. And even when you just have an honest conversation with someone, and I'm saying that at 333 here, okay, which is mind, body, soul, which is what that angel number means. It's because they don't know how to maybe manage those conflicts, do those things, whatever. And it's important to be able to gain support in order to do that specifically. This is also being able to speak one's truth, but speak it with integrity. Speak it with rationale. Don't speak rationally, right? That'd be rashly, nice, right? That would be the opposite. This is being very confident and secure in oneself, not reassurance seeking. And it's a strong sense of self-worth here overall. And it's also the ability to still be confident and be confident in vulnerability and sharing just where you're at in life. And this is something where it can be very intimate. And this is being open to sharing with other people. And it's more so action oriented. It's more so purposeful. It's more so let's move forward with this. And really feeling like you have that sense of purpose and that desire. And you're making a positive impact on the world by taking the initiative and pursuing goals with passion. It's also strong boundaries and being assertive and really knowing oneself here specifically, and especially with Neptune and Aries. Like, Aries is know thyself here, okay? It's also about approaching any challenges with patience and recognizing that growth and change really does take time. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. Even if we see certain people out there get successful in the day, but you didn't see everything that they were working on for 3 years plus or 5 years plus or whatever, right? And it is about being balanced and whole, like having the balance of divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. So creating this wholeness for oneself. Let's definitely talk about the flip. The distorted divine masculine energy. This is controlling. This is dominating. This is seeking to exert power here specifically over others to control them in situations and outcomes. It's kind of like the energy if you've ever had that boss that like literally like micromanages you, or it's like office space energy. It's like, oh my gosh, can you stop breathing down my neck? Like, can you please leave me alone? Like, I don't like this. I feel uncomfortable. And then unfortunately, a lot of people, if they don't realize that they are in a distorted masculine energy, how they're making other people feel uncomfortable, how they're coming off towards people, how they're being very self-centered. And I know the word narcissistic is a big buzzword nowadays. It is. And that is the very, very harsh shadow side of this distorted energy, where it is just your own personal needs, your own personal desires at the expense of other people here. It's very like greedy kind of vibe energy, and it's materialistic and ambitious, but without balance here. And so this is like you might be in a distorted divine masculine energy. You're consistently doing, you're consistently going, you're consistently trying to strive to achieve, hit the next goal, hit the next target, get that status, get this possession, get that external validation. So that's when you know you're in a distorted divine masculine energy, when you are neglecting some sort of area of personal inner growth here and purpose, where it's like you're chasing the next thing here, okay? And the divine feminine energy is all about I attract, I don't chase. And so there needs to be some balance of these things. Hi, Pinky. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you all for getting the likes up here. We have 4 on the channel. There's 11 in the chat. Let's get them up, hey, babies. Let's talk a little bit more about the distorted divine masculine. Then we're going to get in more to the Neptune energies moving into Aries and astrology, fortunes, and everything like that. And just Sabian symbols and different things that I wanted to point out with the tarot that I think is going to help a lot of visual visual learners out there, okay? But distorted divine masculine energy is also fear-based. It's insecure. It is, this uncertainty of oneself. And so it's kind of like this need to prove oneself, but then also feeling defensiveness and also like leading to feel vulnerable, but not being like vulnerable, like not saying or sharing something vulnerable, but like, oh my God, that person like called me out. Now I'm in a vulnerable place. And now I need to like, project. Now I need to deflect. Now I need to like, make my case here overall. And for those that don't know, I have a card in my Shameless Truth deck, and it's all about trauma responses. Like over explaining is a trauma response. Giving too much information is always a trauma response. I have it in that deck. If I knew where it was, I would read it right now. But that's something very specifically that a distorted divine masculine energy can really project. And it's something where we don't even realize that we might be doing it specifically, but it's like the need to prove oneself, the need to get the last word in, the need to be right even when you're not. And so this is just one of those things where you kind of feel gross, like when you have those people in your life and you're like, you really have to like keep saying this and prove your point and be that stubborn? Really? It matters that much to you? Like, really? Like, what are we doing here? So it's also with distorted divine masculine, it's this whole idea of like, I can be hyper independent. I don't need anybody. I can just move forward here, and the sphere of intimacy around people. And so there could be like this, vacillating back and forth of like, I want to be intimate with people and share certain things that are going on with me, but I'm scared. So I'm just going to say F it and do my own thing and be super independent overall. It's also stoicism and feeling like I can't be emotionally available to people. So I'm just going to like be emotionally unavailable. I'm going to suppress my emotions. I'm going to struggle to connect with people on a deeper level. I'm going to lack intimacy. But then when I do that, I might judge myself. I might criticize myself. I might shame myself. I might blame myself. I might do this to others then. And so this is something for all of us to really understand, like how we're moving from this divine feminine energy of the light and the shadow when it comes to Pisces, and into this divine masculine energy of the light and the shadow when it comes to Aries. And so it's important because we have that retrograde later on this year, and Neptune in Aries isn't fully 100% until next January, for those of you that are tuning in later. So the advice for a lot of these things, it depends on where this is in your charts. But for those of you that don't know or haven't really watched my channel here, I've been going through my Neptune transits, and I shared with the most recent video of like the solar eclipse energy and just how I'm feeling and how I'm experiencing with this. I've literally gone through 3 Neptune hits, and I'm going to get it again, like according to these astrology birth charts and everything like that. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. But when you personally are going through Neptune transits, which maybe some of you are too, you'll have to let me know in the chats or the comments after too. Hi, Pinky. Thank you for being here, love. It's something where you are really going to feel like WTF is happening and why am I so goddamn tired? Why am I always clairvoyantly dreaming? Why am I having like 6 dreams in a night or 4 to 6 dreams in a night? How can I reground my energy? Why am I so drained? Why is my, spirit, so just energetically not present? And it's important to be able to retreat and reflect on your own wellness and do certain things where it's like, can I do tarot cards for myself that day? Can I dream journal? Dream journaling specifically every single day. Can I pull oracle cards? Can I go to yoga? Can I ground my feet? Can I put my feet on the ground in nature outside? Can I do something that feels really good? Can I go on a retreat that's for spirituality? Can I learn about things like astrology, tarot, Reiki, chakras, EFT, hypnotherapy? Just there's so many things out there, y'all, right? I'm so glad this resonates 100%, Pinky. Yes. So it's really important to be mindful of that when you're going through your Neptune transits. I know a lot of y'all are like, when's this read? When's that read, Jackie? When are you doing this? When are you doing that? And I'm like, some weeks I don't have the capacity to do 12 signs or even 6 signs with my live readings. And that's why I've really had to energetically like take a step back, reassess, and take a break, as I personally am changing and evolving and growing certain things with my business here, right? And so when specifically this retrogrades later on July 4th this summer here, it's going to ask you to reflect on these shadows and the lights that, Neptune in Aries is trying to show you from the past with Neptune in Pisces. And so it's best for any retrograde. Reset, relax, reflect, retreat, recharge. Be with people who are that high vibrational octave here. Be with people who are spiritually like on your level, who don't energetically drain you, who don't push your boundaries, who really wholeheartedly love you. And sometimes those times, I personally think, could be really good for retreats, quite frankly, to be able to host them, have them, get people together, attend them, do whatever it is, just for our souls. So especially wherever this might be hitting your houses, you know, if that's in your 10th house, that might be a good time to be like, I just need a retreat and take a break from work here and maybe take some time out for me. Or if it's something where it's hitting your, let's say, your 5th house, and you're like, I cannot creatively like paint or draw or write or blog or vlog or give this resource to someone out there where it might help them. Like, I am just stuck here. I have been for months, and maybe that's a time to slow down and take things off the calendar rather than do more here too. Let's talk about Neptune's light. So this is heightened spirituality, it's mysticism, intuition, it's love, it's compassion, it's forgiveness. It's doing things out of the goodness of your heart, not getting something from it, not trying to get something from another person or have some sort of hidden agenda, but truly out of the goodness of your heart. And it's compassionate and it's empathetic and it's creation. And Neptune's shadow is deception, delusion, illusion, not keeping promises. It's scams. It's pretending to be someone or something that you're not. It's very hidden secrets in one's subconscious, their psyche, and just fears, their unhealthy programming here too. And this could even be untreated, undiagnosed mental health, addictions, again, hospitals, prisons, lack of boundaries, people testing you to see what they can get away with. And it's like absorbing the energies of the collective rather than observing people's feelings and being like, nope, I'm not taking that on. But at the shadow, people tend to take it on whether or not they realize it or know it. And so this is where then we might feel frustrated with ourselves and upset with ourselves because we're like, why did I even show up for that person? Why did I give energetically to that person? Why did I do this here? And so with Neptune, this energy likes to dissolve. It likes to melt things away. It likes to, it's kind of like the sinking boat energy. And like, you're either going to jump ship or you're going to go down with that sinking boat and see how long you can like hold your breath, but you may not be able to anymore. And so it also can feel like a letting go of something. And I hope that makes sense with how I'm describing this. But this could also be in related to boundaries, allowing other people to take advantage of you and taking the time to really fill up your cup. And you really have to fill up your cup and advocate for yourself. And depending on where this is going to hit in your 12th house, which we will get to, y'all, I promise, it will show you some of Neptune's secrets specifically here and where this is going to show up. And so I want to talk about different themes of how this shows up in the tarot. So let me take a sip of this, y'all. What do we think of this so far? Okay. Do y'all ever drink Poppy? I love it. I heard they just got bought out by Pepsi, I think, and it's so good. But is this making sense in the chat? Everyone let me know. / is this helpful information so far to really get into the deep diviness of all these things? I know Pinky said resonates 100 or 1,000%. I don't know if there's anyone else who's like, yes, this resonates. Or if you're watching the replay back, check out the comments below, okay? So I wanted to grab this tarot deck to just kind of talk about some of these things when it comes to tarot cards ruled by Neptune, as well as Pisces, and tarot card rules by Aries, as well as Mars here, okay? And before we do that, I'm just going to remind everybody, if anybody does a super chat, when it comes to the goals, I will do your reading first here. Ooh, I saw this pop up. Maybe it's going to be Leo first here overall, the live readings here, okay? But let's talk about this. So the tarot cards that are strictly ruled by Pisces here are the Moon and the Hanged Man energy. The Moon is really all about trusting oneself, trusting one's intuition, trusting, the deep down inside that maybe other people may not be seeing. And this card, I really wanted to use this because it's kind of like answering the call, like the phones for you, literally. Like, what is it that you're being called to answer the call about, too? And with the moon card, it just represents, how does this make me feel? How do I want to move forward with this? And it's also these things that we may not always want to see, but we need to see in life. Let me say that again. We may not always want to see, but we need to see in life. And when it's in the reverse, this is when we can act out of that Pisces shadow here. And this might be like delusional thinking, not taking accountability, acting out of feelings, and just doing things very rash, okay? With the Hanged Man energy, this is really contemplating, your spiritual path, your soul, your movement, really meditating on some things, really working from this love type of energy, which is the dove here, the high vibrational octave of Neptune. And so if you are, pulling tarot cards for yourself or others, or watching other people here on YouTube, it's good for you to be mindful of and pay attention to if any of these things are coming up specifically with Neptune and Aries, or even during this time where Neptune transits back to Pisces, because it's kind of like background music, like at a party. Like, you hear it, but you also may be like, wait, what? Like, did that happen? And the Hanged Man energy really wants to reflect, get grounded, meditate, just be like this person that's like, okay, I'm hanging out here, I'm chilling like a villain, and I'm just like relaxing, but like I need to meditate on this. And so again, Neptune energy, it could be good to maybe adopt that mantra, that affirmation of like, I need to meditate on this before I make a decision, especially if you've been scammed in the past and you're like, I just need to meditate on this. This deal sounds too good to be true here. And there might be people with this, energy being in Aries, the masculine energy, maybe being pushy. Hi, Tammy. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to smash the like button, y'all. I would appreciate that so much. But this is something where giving yourself this time is going to be really good. When the Hangman energy is in the reverse, this is living out of alignment. This is not living within your soul's purpose. This is like something's got to change here. And I feel like this is resistance here. It's kind of like nails on a chalkboard energy. And you're like, I don't like this, but I might potentially keep myself stuck here, specifically overall. Let's talk about the other Cups cards that are associated with Pisces. They are ruled by different planets though. So let's talk about this. So we have 8 of Cups. So this could be like refusal of like one's responsibilities, day-to-day tasks, chores, or even like not allowing yourself to move on or walk away from some sort of situation. I know this 8 of Cups is different, but I like the visuals as I'm explaining this one because this is more of a modern day type of tarot, and I'm trying to relate this to modern day and what we're kind of all experiencing during this time. But this is something where it's like, oh, like my responsibilities, might be holding myself back here, and I got to be able to get the dishes done before I can actually move forward and go on to that next thing. And this is also being mindful of like your own inner knowledge and wisdom and feelings with certain things here too. And 8 of Cups energy is like you want to move forward with something and like you almost haven't yet, but you want to so bad, to that wish fulfillment here. And then before you know it, if it is fully in the reverse, you hold yourself back. So if 8 of Cups in the reverse is showing up for you when it comes to different tarot readings during this time, or psychic readings, or your own readings, this is something to pay attention to because it's ruled by Saturn, this card. And Saturn is discipline. Saturn is lessons. Saturn is responsibilities, and 8s in the tarot are patterns. So where have I been neglecting myself? Where have I been neglecting my feelings? Because Cups. Where have I been neglecting my self-love, my spirituality, my values here? And how can I get more disciplined, right? So we have to look at the shadow. With 9 of Cups, this is ruled by Jupiter. And for those that believe, Jupiter was previously ruled, or Pisces was previously ruled by Jupiter. Yep, absolutely cool. And if you're like, nah, it's Neptune now, absolutely cool. I'm not telling you what to believe here, okay? But this 9 of Cups energy is like this wish fulfillment. Like this card is really happy. It's being around people. It's celebrating your success. It's celebrating the love. It's celebrating all these different things here that you have really focused in on accomplishing, okay? And when it's in the reverse and Jupiter, the shadow of it is it likes to expand. It likes to overindulge. It likes to have so much of things that we don't even realize. Be that stuff in our homes, be that too many shots of tequila, be that too many Cosmos, be that too much alcohol, be that too many beers, be that too much food, be that at whatever holidays, right? Or be that overindulgence in anything that can kind of be like addictive. And so this is coming up for you in the reverse. This is a question for many people to really think about. How am I overindulging? How am I overdoing it? And how is this actually not moving me forward with what it is I actually do love, or where it is I actually do want to go? Let's talk about the Ten of Cups and the uprights. This is associated and rules by Mars, and it's also representative Piscean energy. So this is like Aries Pisces energy, which is really interesting here overall with Neptune being in Pisces. So with this is typically representative of like your spiritual family, your soul family. I also say like your queer family, because there's usually a rainbow here, which signifies a lot of hope and excitement and good blessings being ahead. All the different cultures say different things about rainbows, so y'all have to let me know what else like you know about rainbows specifically here too. This is also kind of maybe starting a family, a new family, or even moving in to this level of success that just feels right for you here. It could also be getting a new home. It could be moving to, wow, I found my group of people across the world in this country or in this city or in this state or wherever it might be. And so Ten of Cups energy is really asking us to assess and see like what truly makes us happy deep down inside. What truly is it that we want? What our Ten of Cups energy kind of vibe, perfect day look like, be like here? And how can this potentially even influence generations to come here? And how can I do this from a very well aligned, high vibrational energy? In the reverse, it's conflict, it's upset, it's heated discussions. And because it's ruled by Mars, a lot of times this is like gaslighting intuitions, gaslighting feelings, gaslighting family members, gaslighting friends. So if you see the Ten of Cups in the reverse in different reads moving forward as Neptune is in Aries, like that is the epitome of this card here. And for some of you, this might be like, wow, who do I need to release? Who do I need to divorce? Who do I need to let go of if their beliefs are not the same as mine? Or I just can't be friends with them anymore for X reason, or I just can't do this anymore because of fill in the blank, some sort of Neptunian energy or Mars sort of energy here, right? And sometimes that is the hardest thing to do with Ten of Cups energy in the reverse. So for any of you who has had to grieve the loss of people, let go of people, family members, divorce, ambiguous lost friendships, people that felt like family, but you're like, wow, they really aren't. And maybe you even outgrown them to some degree here with Ten of Cups in the reverse, and there's like kids and stuff, right? Be it mentally, spiritually, at that sort of level is what I mean. And I mean it in a way of like you are consistently growing and learning and reassessing your values and reassessing how you show up and who you show up with and what rooms you are in too, okay? So let's talk about the Aries specifically. So Aries light side is, they are, and I said this before, Aries is ruled by the god of war here specifically. So it is fighting, it's action, it's assertiveness, it's advocacy, it's initiative, it's leadership, it's being the boss of your life here. And this is also the energy of wherever this is showing up in the 12 houses for you, that's what your birth chart will represent. That astrological secret of like, where is it that I need to boss up in my life specifically? And that's the lesson. And where do I need to advocate for myself? Where do I need to be more assertive? It is doing what's right for you and what's best for you too here, okay? With Aries shadow, it is a lot of aggression. It's a lot of conflicts that go unmanaged. It's a lot of, let me fight fire with fire and just say this nasty thing because I know I'm going to trigger you AF and I think it's going to be fine, whatever, but you started it, so I'm going to finish it with that. But then it goes back and forth and then you realize, oh my God, this goes nowhere. And now we're just in a freaking circle here, okay? It's like, fuck it kind of moments and energies and like F you kind of moments, because Aries energy is very feisty here overall. And so that's the hard part where we all collectively are being asked to see and also pivot and change here when it comes to these energetically. I'm going to take another sip, y'all. So I'm getting thirsty. I know I've been speaking for about 51 minutes, but definitely like this video if you are new, yo. And let me know what resonates in the chat. I'm paying attention to the chat too, Bill, but I really do hope that a lot of you enjoy this and like this and come back to this as much as you need, because this is going to be a longer video. I knew that. So let's talk about this. Specifically, the major arcana. Hi, Robin Dennis 456. I love it. Yes, 456. Come on and get your kicks if you don't like the honey, the money. That song. I think it's by Jet. Y'all let me know. But let's talk about this. So, Major Arcana. Aries is the Emperor. This is the boss here specifically overall. This is like handshake, welcome to the team, move forward, take action, the leadership of your life here specifically. And the Emperor is someone who gets results. It's someone who does the work. It's someone who puts in the hours, the years, the time, the energy, the effort to be that emperor, to build some sort of empire, to have some sort of lasting effect on the world. Because typically in traditional tarot, there is a world card underneath the emperor's feet, specifically overall here. So this is about being able to boss up and stand up for yourself in your inner authority. When this is in the reverse and we don't do this specifically, then we feel mad and self-critical and frustrated and upset. Like things aren't going right. Things aren't going my way. Things aren't happening in how I want them to. And some people may look at that as, oh my gosh, like this is what I thought I was saying and I thought people got me so clearly, but they didn't. And so it's about like integrating yourself in this leadership role in your life here overall. And I think one of the hardest parts, life lessons that Aries has to learn is that we all do collectively, because this is what Neptune is teaching us with different shadows, different things. Robin, I saw it. I love that you're an Earth Node. Very beautiful. Aries, I think you said, is this fact of needing to learn to advocate for oneself and assert oneself. And sometimes when this card pops up so much in the reverse, like, yeah, it could be, you're dealing with a crummy boss. Yeah, it could be, oh, this person older than me just doesn't like me. Yeah, it could be, let me put the blame on another person here. But it really asks us to integrate this shadow of, man, did I not do something for myself? Did I not advocate for myself? Did I, hold something back and not assert for me kind of energy when maybe I really could have? Or how I asserted myself, was it in a distorted divine masculine energy that did not land? Or maybe I did fight fire with fire. Maybe I have to shamelessly own that here, right? But this Emperor card in the reverse also gives me the vibe of like not speaking up for oneself is the easiest way that I can describe it sometimes when it comes to personal self here, okay? And that's why I shared my story with all of you of like why I'm already feeling this Neptune from Pisces into Neptune and Aries energy literally today. I was shamelessly vulnerable with sharing, just things of how this showed up in my life and how I'm like, I could have been in this energy and not said anything, but no, Jackie's got a business, Jackie's got a brand, Jackie's going to stay shameless, Jackie's going to own it, Jackie is going to be in this leadership boss role of her life, because that's how you co-create your reality, is when you do advocate for yourself and you do speak up. It's not about, letting things slide. It's not about hiding behind a screen. It's not about being passive in these types of energies here. Robin, I love that this resonates, for sure. I love that. And then we have the Tower moment. And I think a lot of people get scared for Tower moments when it comes to the tarot. But the Tower moment is such a beautiful, like, revolutionary energy here overall. Now, I know there's a lot of mundane astrologers talking about, Neptune and Aries and looking at the history of it and looking at how it was previously associated with different types of civil wars and everything like that. And honestly, that checks out. And that's not what I'm going to talk about because it's just not an interest for me. But it makes sense when you look at these two cards, right? So it's something that I wanted to mention with these energies specifically in these tarot, right? So, and I've mentioned this before, how previously a lot of people are going to be leaving different, bosses, jobs, opportunities of places that it's going to blow up, where they're not getting treated well, where it's really like this, and these companies need to really do some things to rebuild this. And now that Neptune's moving into Aries, it's kind of like people are going to advocate for themselves more. People are going to have hard conversations, and bosses are going to have to try to do this. Otherwise, it's going to crumble, y'all. And, Pluto in Aquarius has really exposed a lot of different companies, specifically with Aquarius being, social media and technology, and people that we thought who were once this very beautiful Capricornian energy of this high statue, this high status, and with Pluto and Capricorn previously. But then now that it's in Aquarius, that's showing people's receipts. And now that Neptune is in Aries, this is something that, people, it's more the masculine energy where people are not going to tolerate some of this stuff anymore. So that's my little tangent here. So I appreciate the lotus and the peace here specifically. But the tower moment for Aries, this is like a shocking change that needed to happen. Maybe you didn't want it to happen, but it needed to happen to not stay stuck in old patterns, not stay stuck in old places, relationships, with bosses, partnerships, an apartment building, a house, a home, whatever. But it's also just like this beautiful permission to completely rebuild your life. And I think that's one of the beautiful underlying messages of the tower moment of like, no change lasts forever. Now, when it's in the reverse, this is like a complete wipeout, a complete washout. And I think, this is why I wanted to talk about this with Neptune and Aries. That's what Neptune energy is. Wash it out, dissolve it, release it. It's all going to be melted away here. But then it might be coming back as something even stronger, specifically of something that maybe wasn't so disillusioned, of something that was more solid, of something where it was more of an appropriate like leadership, action, role, new project, new assertion here overall. Let's talk about the wands here. So this one, Two of Wands, is ruled by Mars and Aries. You could have these in your chart. Again, I just want to go over these because these themes could pop up for you when you're watching different readers and everything like that, or pulling cards for yourself. So Two of Wands is like a lot of times making a choice, typically looking out into a distance across the world. And this is Mars and an Aries. Okay. So this is something where this is like wanting immediate action, wanting to go, wanting to move forward, wanting to make the best choice, wanting to trust one's intuition. This card is very creative too. So I just love it because this deck I feel like fits the Neptunian kind of vibe of just how modern it is and creative, right? Music, flowers across the world, travel, just people praising them, right? Looking to this person being like, wow, you're so wonderful and so great. And it's really like making this choice to actually move forward and what it is that you do want and asserting yourself. In the reverse, it's like this energy of like just waiting for something to happen. It's delays. And it's like, well, no, you don't wait for something to happen. You have to do and create and make something happen because no one's coming here to rescue you. You are here to rescue you. You are the miracle here, okay? Then Three of Wands. This is like, groups. This is ruled by the Sun in Aries specifically. So this is moving forward. This is a lot of groupthink. This is also potentially like traveling towards groups, opportunities coming towards you. This is like a higher level of abundance with more community things here as well. And what I love about this card specifically is because I talked about how when we have this retrograde later this year, that it could be really good for people to go on a retreat. Not a vacation, on a retreat to work on oneself here, okay? A vacation could just be like, Jackie's just going to go to the beach and be a mermaid and starfish and just chill the F out and do nothing, right? A retreat is really looking at these shadow elements of oneself and really implementing them and moving forward with some sort of healing type of energy and taking things one step at a time here, right? But you have this group here, you have this support, you have this community, you have people wanting to come towards you, you have these wise individuals who want you to succeed, who want to help you succeed here. Now, when it's in the reverse, this could be delays, right? This could be something where, oh my gosh, well, why are my ships not coming in? Why is this plane not landed yet? Why isn't this done yet, right? Why is this happening? And it feels very victim mindset mentality. And so again, with Neptune and Aries, this is something we have to be mindful of with these shadows specifically. And this is also about, well, what can I do that's in my power to kind of turn the tables back around here specifically? Robin says, yes, I was just thinking about a self-retreat this afternoon. Robin, have you been here since the beginning? Because I literally talked about so many specific things here overall. And I think that that would be lovely. I think that a self-retreat for anybody when this goes into, it doesn't have to just be retrogrades when it's happening in the future with Neptune retrograding in July, but it could just be at any time. Like your soul might be calling out for that a little bit, but being with active community members or people who have the same aligned goals specifically, which I think can be really, really beneficial for lots of people. And then we have the Four of Wands, which is Venus in Aries specifically here, okay? So this is something where with the Four of Wands, this is like celebration. This is success. Some cards, it shows people dancing, having fun, traveling, being at a wedding, 11/11, whatever, right? And so it's something where when you are in this Aries Four of Wands energies, it's like, yes, just celebrate the fact that you freaking advocated for yourself in those moments. Just celebrate the fact that you have people cheering you on. Just celebrate the fact that you have people who love you, want to be there for you, want to show up for you, want to be in your energy, want to be these individuals who support you. And sometimes with 401's energy, it can feel like the opposite. And I know that it can really feel like ish. It can feel like shit being in 401's energy. You feel like heartbroken. You feel like, oh my goodness, I'm going to break up with people. Or, oh my goodness, I don't have as strong a foundations with my confidence within myself. Or, oh my goodness, like my ego is kind of getting hurt right now in these moments because I did this stupid thing or this dumb thing and I'm human, having a spiritual experience or whatever it is. I could have said that backwards, right? And it's just like, damn. Why? And this is kind of the vibe too, where you might be like, okay, bestie, like let's get everybody and let's advocate here specifically, group of people to celebrate this. And then you might be like, why is nobody speaking up for me? You have to speak up for you. You have to speak up for you in those hard moments. You have to be there for you in those moments. And you also have to celebrate you in those tough moments here. And this can also be kind of like heartbreaking energy when you feel like, where are these people? Where are they? And it might take some time to find it and figure it out. But when you get to have those moments, because you do, you get to turn it around, right? And turn the tables back towards yourself here. And Neptune Neptune is the shadows. And that's why I want to talk about this with the tarot and the specific cards that relate to Pisces as well as Aries and these signs here, major arcana, minor arcana here, okay? But we already talked about, I love that you said that. You'll have to replay from the beginning. Definitely do, Robin. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I talk about like how I advocated for myself specifically today, and it was just kind of like, what? And then I was like, oh my gosh, this fits the astrology. And I was like, I know my Shameless squad probably wants to hear all about what's coming up for you and all your energies and do the live psychic tarot reads. I'm just like, my brain is not there, so it is here, and this is why I'm sharing this with you. But I was like, I know my Shameless squad will relate to some of these things who love astrology, and they're going to be like, holy F, that makes so much sense, right? But we already talked about the Two of Wands. This is ruled by Mars and Aries. Let's talk about some other tarot cards that are ruled by Mars specifically, since that is Aries' ruler, and it's important to be mindful of some of these things. We also talked about the Ten of Cups being ruled by Mars as well, specifically here. Okay, love that, Robin. Thank you for the support. So we have the Three of Pentacles, which is Mars in Capricorn specifically. So this may be like working in communities, groups of people, group things, trying to make money, trying to get something tangible, trying to have something kind of take off on the ground here. Okay, and with Pentacles, this is anything that you have. It's tangible. See, taste, touch, feel, right? Maybe it's a new car, maybe it's a trip, maybe it's a community outing, maybe it's an event, maybe it's something that you're doing to make money with a group of people, and collaborations here, right? And so it can feel really, really good because Mars is exalted in Capricorn here. And so if you see this sign with Neptune and Aries, that might be a sign for you if it's coming up in reads to potentially collaborate with other people. Now, just check other placements in your chart, do your due diligence, see an astrologer, get a birth chart reading done, get your own tarot readings done. It is more so for you. This is the general collective when it comes to these things. But when Three of Coins is in the reverse, it can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many other people make all this great money, do all these collabs, and it's kind of like, where's my family in business? Or where's my family when I go to work? Where is like my team when I'm at work? Why is my team, maybe greedy or materialistic or working out of shadow specifically? Why is my team not asserting themselves as much? Why am I here doing all the brunt of the work specifically? And so you might feel this energy specifically come up, and it's about releasing and letting go of how maybe you might be overworking and underplaying. And especially for those of you whose career houses or money houses this will hit in the astrology for your rising sign, that's especially going to be apparent for you specifically. Let me get some more water, y'all. Okay. Let's talk about Five of Cups. So this is Mars and Scorpio specifically. And so for some of you, depending on your rising sign and your sun or your moon or whatever, this could be something where if you have it transiting in the transit charts, in the 8th house, this could specifically deal with death and dying and letting go and releasing and shedding. And 5 of Cups is like really sad, dark, hard energy. It can be depression. It can be grieving the loss of something, someone, whatever. And for other houses, it could also be if it's, you're an Aries rising and it's in your first house of identity and self. This might be grieving the loss of some sort of outdated version of yourself or group or community or people here. It's also feeling like discombobulated or maybe disconnected from others out there in the world, when it's also like, yo, you're never alone here, okay? And it's very isolating energy, like isolating. And Spirit's also trying to show you like, hey, especially in this card, we got your back. We're here. We're hugging you. We love you. We're watching over you overall. And in the reverse, it's really coming out of any dark energies, any harsh energies of sadness or upset or pain or frustration. And it's like moving into this revitalization energy. It's moving into something better, and it's releasing and it's letting go. And this is like healing with things too. With 7 of Wands, I feel like this is literally the epitome of this energy, because I've been saying advocate for yourself, advocate for yourself, advocate for yourself here, okay? This is Mars and Leo energy. And you see how this person literally is like, they have their little, not their little, but kind of like their little sign here, and it's got a photo with a tree on it, and at the bottom of the tree, it's heart, and it's rooted, and it's also like remembering your why. Why are you fighting for that thing? Why are you fighting for those roots? What are those solid things that you have planted specifically that you need to advocate for yourself on? What are those boundaries, and how can you be assertive here specifically overall? So don't be surprised if you need to speak up. You need to fight for yourself. You need to defend oneself, but in a way that is very healthy and not shaming. If it's shaming and it's unhealthy, this is where we fight that fire with fire, where we are spiritually misaligned, where we are working out of ego, where we're working out of upset, where we're working out of, I'm just going to trigger you back because this is what it's going to do, right? And it's more so aggression than it is assertion here, okay? Let's talk about 9 of Swords. This is Mars and Gemini here. So if you have 9 of Swords specifically show up in your readings during this time with Neptune and Aries in the future, or when it retrogrades back, this is something where a lot of people might be stuck in their head. You may be experiencing a lot of ruminations, thoughts, things that you hate dealing with in life, things that aren't aligned to you, things that you don't enjoy, things that just feel so not it. This could also be anxiety. This could be negative thinking, ruminations, catastrophizing, overgeneralizing. It's like looped thinking here and getting in the cycle of looped anxiety or even stress specifically, y'all. And it's something where you can't sleep at night. It's something where you might have a nightmare, but this is also something where a lot of people will talk about how this is self-imposed restriction. How are you staying stuck in these thoughts? Can you do something to become unstuck? Can you do thought stopping? Can you, do medications? Can you do therapy? Can you do mindset work? Can you really focus in on how to reframe things? Can you focus in on rewriting narratives? Can you focus in on doing something that's more helpful? And with this 9 of Swords in the reverse and it in the upright, if this is coming up in people's reads, honestly, y'all, like I would not be surprised specifically if we see more people go to therapy this year, especially anybody who aligns to the masculine energy in their birth chart. But Neptune is mental health. Neptune is the psyche. Neptune is the hidden. Neptune is the secrets here. And so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are taking up therapy, counseling, coaching, wellness, spirituality, looking within, focusing on shadows, focusing on oneself, doing different things to actually get out of their minds with some of this stuff and really be like, it's kind of a joke, y'all, when it comes to therapists and stuff. Not like therapists are a joke, but like when we see people say, oh, this year I'm going to go to therapy. This year I'm going to go to therapy. This year I'm going to go to therapy. And then you never go to therapy. It's kind of like that has been a joke that a lot of therapists have made memes about and just used on social media because we hear it so much. And then a lot of people aren't actually doing and being in the aligned divine feminine or divine masculine energy and feminine energy, and being like, I will move forward and I will process this and I will do and be with this work. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see, honestly, more men's groups showing up. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more spiritual men's groups showing up. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot more connection and community with some of that stuff in particular, because I feel like with moving from the age of Neptune being in Pisces and now Neptune being in Aries, you're seeing a lot more people talk about mental health. Think about it. Like, let me know in the chat. Have you seen people open up on social media, share their stories, or other people say, oh my gosh, like this person didn't get help and now they're gone? Like, these different types of things are real. They are real. And now with Aries, you know, being the first sign of the zodiac where the sun season starts in Aries, that is the spiritual illumination of the sun being shined on these things specifically. And that's 12th house energy. And so I just want to give some different shadow work prompts for people who are wanting to do their shadow work. Think about some of these things that could be helpful. Like, come back to this video, use it as a tool. But some questions could be, what's holding me back from the highest version of myself? What worries do I have about this? How can I manage thoughts, feelings, or beliefs? How can I release any harsh feelings from how this is showing up for me? What fears do I have around this? What can I say back to them? What is Neptune in my birth chart and shadows asking me to face? Where is Neptune transiting in my chart and what shadows? Oh, I said that twice. Oh, in my birth chart versus transit chart. Okay, so it just depends. And if the stars and Neptune are in current retrograde, what shadows, fears, or parts of my subconscious or psyche is it asking me to go back to? What do I need to reflect on in this area? How have I acted out of the shadow of Neptune, if it is retrograde or not, just at this time? Have I lacked boundaries, escaped with addiction, test people, scam people, ghosted people, run away from fears, betray myself? And these questions could go on and on and on. Like, you could ask yourself questions about, again, like just boundaries and just where that's going into the specific house for your rising sign too. But I always like to flip it, and I always like using light work questions, which light work is really thinking about the positive, the flipping of it, and exploring some of these things that we may benefit from and remembering them because they feel good, right? And so this is, how can I cope with anything from what's to come? How can I recharge my spirit? What are some high vibrational words, quotes, mantras, affirmations, meditations, music, or healing energies I can tap into at this time? How can I make time for my soul sessions, aka self-care with my soul and spirit? What else can I be mindful of with Neptune at this time? And then there's additional space to like write notes for sun or moon or planets just conjoining with Neptune, or like reflect on some of these things. And let's talk about the 0 degrees meaning and the Sabian symbol, because I feel like that's so important with this, with Aries. And this starting like legit astrologically at a cardinal degree, at the 0 degree, at the critical degree, just all the degrees. Like, say degree again, Jackie. Okay. So this is something where I'm going to read the first degree because it's going to say a little bit of that. And I'm going to read the second degree too, because they don't do 0 degrees in this book that I am reading from for you all. But for numerologically and astrology, like, the 0 degrees literally represents like you are the epitome of that degree. So you embody that energy a lot because you're meant to have these experiences with it. And 0 to 2 degrees naturally is like amplifying of that energy and luck in a birth chart when you're born from the 0-2 degrees. And zeros represent initiation. It represents word movement. And it represents, in numerology, this pure potential of beginning and limitless possibilities, which I think is so beautiful. It's a blank slate. And it's the raw energy. It's the newness. It's the unshaped influence astrologically. And so planets here in birth charts are just like fresh starts. Like, it's brand new beginnings here. Okay. So with the first degree, let's talk about this in particular. A woman rises out of the water. A seal rises and embraces her. Keyword is realization. So this is the way to begin. This symbol speaks to birth, emergence, taking place first, and faltering and naive steps on any journey. It also speaks to stirring from within that signals the realization of its potential and the possibilities of growth. The image, a woman rises out of the water, seal rises and embraces her, depicts the feminine, emotional, and receptive or passive side of a man embraced by the masculine, purposeful, and initiating, or the active side himself. Oh my gosh, I love this because this is what we're talking about here. This image also symbolizes human spirit embraced by desire. The emphasis is on achievement of self-integration, or that mystical union of elements of the self. This is beautiful with Neptune, y'all. On a practical level, this image represents the first degree of the zodiac, the spring, the beginning of a new cycle, and freedom of choice. It also represents the starting point of the journey of self-discovery. At its highest, this symbol represents independence, initiative, and openness to the new experiences. At its lowest, it's the willfulness or lack of discrimination here overall. And discrimination meaning like not being able to discern, make decisions is what this says. Okay, need some water. This talks about new beginnings and change. Your life could feel bored, restless, lonely, or that there's something missing. Adventure beckons on the sweet lilacs of gentle spring wind, the novel and different special of allure. The opportunity is your greatest advantage lies in being sensitive to what it is that you really need. Take a broader look at the options available to you. Window shop and pay close attention to timing. Risk. Guard against rashness. I love that this says this. Oh my God. Hasty decisions or making irrevocable commitments. So like I said, scams, things of that sort. Avoid jumping from the frying pan into the fire, being headstrong and stubborn in relationship with others. Stepping stone. Birth, new beginnings, growth, self-integration, new cycles, freedom of choice, and receptivity. The Aries second degree is a comedian entertaining a group, and it's about release. The theme is personification. This speaks to self-understanding through the self's reflection in the mirror. It's the emphasis here that is the opportunity for self-discovery and personal growth through role play. The image of a comedian is entertaining a group that dramatizes the necessity for a willingness to risk, here illustrated by a creative form of self-expression designed to elicit feedback and response to the self's outpouring. Implicit in the symbol is the importance of versatility and well-roundedness, or the ability to function competently in a variety of situations. On a practical level, this symbol portrays humor and the ability to appreciate the ironies and incongruity of life. Positive, at its highest, it represents sparkling wit and a keen sense of humor. Negative, exhibitionism and silliness or unwillingness to reveal the self. The accent is on the accent is on self-discovery. You may see yourself in a new light or appreciate things you never realized about yourself. Communication skills should be at their peak, and the greatest opportunity is the advantage of lying in a variety of approaches or techniques to keeping your sense of humor. Experiment with new ways of expressing yourself and pay attention to the feedback you get. Be innovative. Risk is guard against behavior that outrages community values. What may seem clever or funny at first thought may turn out to be highly offensive to others. On the other hand, this is not a time to be self-effacing or to hide your light under the bushel. Stepping stones are self-understanding, self-discovery, roleplay, creative expression, entertainment, humor, irony, and versatility. And so I love that with this 1 degree and this 2 degree. This first one's talking about don't act rationally, and this, or irrationally, like rashly, harshly, whatever. And I love that the second one's really talking about how laugh at people. Just laugh at people. Laugh at people when they don't realize what they're saying. Laugh at people when, it's just like, really? Laugh at people in these moments that feel just so like the shadow of the distorted masculine or the shadow of Aries when you're seeing this stuff, because that laughter is a form of like freeing yourself and releasing any attachment to that thing you saw, that post you saw, that person you saw, that person that you are hearing from, whatever it might be. And so with Neptune in Aries from the 0 to 2 degrees, this is major life changes that are happening here. Like I said, it's going to retrograde later in July and then stay in Aries next year. But let's talk about the different types of houses. So the angular houses in astrology are your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. These are the cardinal degree houses here. And this will affect you if it's hitting your, ascendant, descendant, MC, or IC. And these houses specifically are considered to have a lot of power and a lot of influence in a birth chart because it's ruled by the cardinal signs, which are the leaders, which are the self-starters here. And this is because they are the ones who lead the beginning of the seasons here. So that's an astrology secret for you. So for you, if this is you, it will hit the cardinal signs for the rising sign horoscopes. Let's talk about this ascendant houses, the 2nd, 4th, 8th, and 11th. Otherwise, these are the houses that rule fixed signed energy here, okay? So this is the in-between season energy where it's like things stabilize. Things really are like, my hands are getting so like harsh and like they want to just stick here, right? It's like stabilizing that relates to one's purpose, stabilizing into making something solid, stabilizing into making something with strong efforts and a strong foundation. And these are less powerful than angular, but it's like be stubborn in what it is that you want it to be reliable, what it is that you want it to really relate to the purpose and your own personal growth. And that's a secret that you can look in your astrology birth chart for, or book a reading to look at some of that stuff. So for this house, it's more, it's a little bit more powerful than cadence. So like for rising sign fortunes, this is going to impact mutable signs here specifically, which have previously gone through this when Neptune was in Pisces. So this did impact them the most previously here overall. And so it's something where cardinal signs, it's our turn, right? It's our turn. And that's just the cycles and the changes of astrology here specifically when different planets move to different signs and move to different placements like within the chart. That is just a natural cycle that's going to happen specifically here overall. And the cadent houses, so 3, 6, 9th, 12th, that's the last signs of the zodiac. So it's the ones that are least powerful with having an impact, but it's because they're meant to be more flexible, more open. This is adapting to changes very well here, being very free about stuff, being very open. And so for this is going to be influencing the fixed signs for rising sign horoscopes here. Love that you're like, yes, 100% check mark, Robin, absolutely. So let's talk about this specifically. When it comes to cardinal signs, 0 to 5 degrees, like you're going to get it. But in a way that's going to look very differently for everyone. And it just is what it is. Like Aries, you're going to get a conjunction, which is like a brand new beginning here. Now, this brand new beginning could be something and so freaking awesome and powerful, or it could be a brand new beginning and you're just like, oh, this is not what I wanted. And then it might be, okay, you might close that up and do something new where it's another brand new beginning. It just depends here. Cancer, I am a Cancer sun here, okay? This is for risings. You're going to get a square, and that's going to be more stress. That is going to be more challenges. That is going to be more tension here. But squares in the birth chart, what they really teach us is how we can move forward through hard things. It's like Glennon Doyle's book, We Can Do Hard Things. So maybe if you're a Cancer, maybe you need to read that and listen to that book specifically, or just like a healing kind of book here overall, or something of that sort. With Libras, you are going to get an opposition. So it's not as tense as a square. The opposition for you, though, is going to be related to others. And this might be something where you might be kind of butting heads with others. You kind of might be upset with others. You kind of might be like, opposing others at this time. And it's just like, why? And it could just be you lose others. But we'll talk about more of the rising sign. I just want to talk about these 4 cardinal signs quickly. And Capricorn, you are also going to be getting a square where it's like your parents and like the 10 to 4 houses, like stress with your sibling sign of Cancer here. And that's kind of like the shadow of you. So you're in the opposite house here overall. And so you're going to feel some tensions, some challenges, some lessons to be overcome and to move through specifically here. So this is something to just pay attention to, mutable signs went through this previously. It's cardinal signs' turns to experience this, go through this, and we'll talk a little bit about this. Hi, Brian, St. Louis. You're a Cancer. I love that. When's your birthday? I'm a Cancer sun over here too. Or are you Cancer rising? Let me know. Let me know what your rising sign is, y'all, in the chat. Do you know your rising? Do you know your sun? Do you know your moon? Like, what placements do you check? And you can check your Neptune with this too, like, and see where that's kind of hitting for you. June 24th. I love that. You're 2 days after me. What beautiful. But again, with this, let's talk about some of these themes here overall, because there's some other things that I just want to say when it comes to this. I took my notes, and I'm really thinking about everything that I can give you the best when it comes to your rising sign horoscope and fortune, and what to pay attention to, because there's just so much information, right? And again, this is basic general astrology. I'm not looking at your birth chart or anything like that. So, but Neptune. So I just want to review before we go into this. Let me take a sip, y'all. Okay. Neptune. Intuition, it's your calling, it's mysticism, it's a mentor, it's friends, it's spirituality, it's action, it's fantasy, it's also deception, it's illusion, it is scams, it is self-betrayal here, it is all those things of the shadow and the light that I previously said. So pay attention when we go through these rising sign horoscopes, or if you're checking in your sun, your moon, your Neptune, whatever it is you want to do, boo, for those types of themes, because it will energetically pop up here. Brian says, I'm going to work. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, Brian. Thank you all for the likes here. Definitely smash the like and subscribe button, y'all. Help the channel grow. It is completely free to you, and this is a wealth of information for 88 minutes. Sagittarius, Capricorn cusp, Capricorn sun, moon, rising. Oh, Aquarius rising. I read that wrong. That's what you all get when I go live for 88 minutes, I guess. But I love that. And do you check all of them? Do you check your Neptune sign? Like, let me know. But let's talk about this. So, again, Neptune, deception, Aries, me, self. Ooh, I have a beautiful red cardinal in my backyard. I love red cardinals. They're so pretty, y'all. I don't know why I'm waving at you, but I'm like trying to wave at it. Okay, distraction. And it's intuition, deception. It's also me and the self with Aries. So that is a big theme when going through these rising sign horoscopes. So Aries rising, this is going to be going through your first house of you. With Neptune and Aries being in your first house, this is your ego, this is your identity, this is your softer sense of self, this is your spiritual identity, this is who you truly are, your persona, how you're showing up, how you are dressing. And first house, sometimes people will relate to the body. So this might be something where Neptune and Aries, like, are you going to do more, yoga, like, or some sort of like new, I don't know, like routines are typically like your sixth house when it comes to physical health and well-being and everything like that. But like, again, I could see it with the body. Are you doing something new with your body? Everything like that specifically here. Are you dyeing your hair? Are you working on your fitness? He's my witness. Are you getting new outfit? Are you just like embodying the sense of self that's this higher octave of Neptune here? Your superpower specifically is going to be to advocate for yourself. It is your confidence, Aries. It is literally you stepping into that. The light that's being shined on with your first house is maybe how other people see you, and that's not how you see you anymore. Same year, leveled up you, that kind of vibe and energy here. How you might betray yourself really could just be, oh, I thought I wanted to do that, but then I actually don't. And this could be something like, am I doing this personally for myself here, or am I doing this because other people truly want me to do this? It's like, you versus others. And this is Neptune and Aries asking you to be you. Like, you do you at the end of the day, boo. It's one of these things where you also are probably going to get a brand new beginning, like just for who you are. You maybe feel very revitalized, maybe even spiritually born with the Neptunian kind of energy. So what you really have to fight for with this and your boundaries is going to be your own autonomy over yourself, your sense of identity, even your body, and who you are in the game of life. And don't save others by allowing them to treat you poorly. Let me say that again. Don't save others by allowing them to treat you poorly. Hold people accountable and be assertive in these situations here. And pay attention to, what might dissolve. Like, are you letting go of a wardrobe? Are you letting go of like previous things you don't like anymore? Are you letting go, are you cutting your hair? Are you doing something, some sort of thing with your whole personality, who you once were, now who you are here? So this is like leveled up you here. Yes, Robin. Cardinal signs putting those actions into actual action. Absolutely. That is what Neptune and Aries is teaching us. And Aries, like, that is specifically by you saying this is like me energy and embodying this and stepping into this and expressing yourself with other people here overall, that is going to get you closer to that higher octave of like Neptune kind of vibe and energy here, which I really, really, really love for you. I'm so glad this resonates, Robin. Thank you for the confirmation. Let's talk about Taurus. So Taurus risings, this is going to go through your 12th house. This is private. This is subconscious. This is solitude. This is mental health. This is spirituality. This is long distance, like people, places, whatever. Ninth house is too, but even further from that. It is really like things that are being hidden are going to come to light. And so this is something where your superpower is really to take care of your mental health and yourself with Neptune in Aries in the 12th house. Taurus risings, I would not be surprised if the light that is being shined onto you here in this 12th house is spirit, universe, source, God, whatever you believe in, showing you new ways of being, living, and doing from a spiritual sense, but also like a mental health sense here. And maybe you're getting clairvoyant dreams, hits, third eye activations. I would say dream journal. Taking care of your sleep is going to be key with Neptune in your 12th house, Taurus, and be very firm. That is your boundary. Like, your superpower is going to be having a firm boundary as well on your sleep schedule and everything. How to not betray yourself here. So this is a hard one with the 12th house. I'm not going to lie here. But this is something where it is asking you to make sure that you advocate for yourself when you are in those spiritual communities, when you are working with a therapist, when you are working with anybody potentially like if jail, prison, whatever, healthcare, those types of things specifically here overall. So it's really about finding this inner confidence and allowing yourself to feel and be emotional and show up and set the boundaries around things that are really important for your life, your day-to-day routine, your sleep routine, your self-care, exercise, your work, your job, your play, like anything that you get to do here overall, and really fight for that mental inner peace here specifically. And don't save others with the martyrdom syndrome of trying to solve their mental health or subconscious programming or psyche or issues when those other people are not putting their best foot forward. And make sure, and what dissolves might be outdated thinking patterns. And maybe you find some beautiful relief here specifically through seeking help from others, through working on mind, through sleeping more, through, maybe things from the past here. And so what's really dissolving for you is going to be like, leveling up into this very strong mindset as long as you are putting in the work and moving forward with these things. Yes, I love that this resonates. Robin says, I'm elevating energies. Absolutely. And big old message here. Absolutely. Thank you. Geminis, let's talk about you. This is going through Neptune and Aries, your 11th house for Gemini risings. And this is like a fun house. This is lots of friends, lots of community. It is a wish fulfillment house too. And with this in particular, I would not be surprised, If you are spiritually connecting with people in social circles or communities, or having a lot of psychic connections here overall, okay? Meeting people at, sound baths, meeting people at yoga, meeting people at tarot reads, meeting people at full moon rituals, meeting people at fill in the blank. You get the picture. And it's something where Neptune in Aries here is trying to show you something when it comes to like your friendship, and shining a light on this and whom your friendships are, and being at this more so elevated kind of friendships and relationships with your social circles. Oh my goodness. Because it's kind of like, wow, I really wanted these friends or these communities or these groups or these people, right? Or these allies out here to like, but where are they? And it's kind of like that, Three of Wands energy in the upright, where it's kind of like your ships are coming in, but you might also be going out to really find that too, specifically, is what they're showing me in my mind's eye here. So your superpower is really going to be taking action to assert yourself, to trying some new things, to putting yourself out there. And that's the light that's really being shined on, like getting connected with new people here and new relationships. And don't betray yourself in regards of like taking on other people's spiritual beliefs or anything like that in settings if they just are not right for you. This could even be like, ninth house energy is more so churches, but like for an example, it's just the first one that's coming off my head. Like you go into that said church because this friend wants to go and whatever, right? And third house is also you, Gemini, which is your local community and stuff here. So it all relates at the end of the day. So the boundary is to really kind of say to maybe friends or colleagues or community or social groups here, I am secure in myself and I believe this. I choose to believe this. I wish to have this. I want this. And this might also be kind of like a fun, dreamy house to make your wishes and dreams come true. And moving forward with a plan with other friends or people, or maybe you're collaborating with some people, make sure you're not saving others in the sense of like them potentially trauma dumping a lot of things on you. And I say that because a lot of times friends will do that. A lot of people in social circles and communities will do that. And I think it's important to be very mindful of that. And what might be dissolving here, like old friends, old communities, old ways of, showing up to places, spaces, and people. And there could be a lot of new ones coming in here. Okay. Let me get a sip. Oh gosh, we're at 34% on my phone. Okay, let's talk about Cancer risings here specifically. This is going to go through your 10th house career, and you're going to get that square. So you might be confused in your profession. You might own your own business. You might move from some sort of job that you once had, that a lot of people knew you had that, and then like your public reputation changes or your career changes. And this is what the universe is shining a light on, like knowing and owning your inner authority in the power and the position that you have played here, especially if you are potentially getting a promotion, leveling up in a career, building a name for yourself, starting your own thing here, right? So I really could see a job or career path really dissolve during this time, releasing, letting go. And don't save others by doing things that you once did in order to energetically just help them because you want to help them. Some people, if they were in past careers or previous careers with you, they kind of have to use their own resources, and maybe other people in that area of a career field that's more appropriate. And setting boundaries with that, especially if you are moving into your own business here. And the light is like shining on you in this area where unfortunately people might want to almost try to, the shadow of this, dissolve you, make you look bad in your career or your reputation or whatever here. And this is you needing to advocate, assert yourself, and fight for yourself. This is literally why I shared this story too, specifically, y'all. I am a Cancer sun. This will be hitting my 10th house, which is the opposite of my rising sign, which is Capricorn rising, right? It's 444 here too. As I'm saying this. And today, Neptune in Aries with that story is literally someone trying to come for me when I didn't send for you, when I was just sharing something, when I was just giving an opinion, when I was just sharing information that I thought could be helpful or useful. So unfortunately, you might have some people trying to defame you or your reputation. Don't let them. Advocate for yourself. Block these people. Let them go. Release them. Do what you got to do with this too. Okay. For Leo in ninth house, this is spirituality, long distance trip, travel, education, learning, everything like that. Yeah, 444. And so, Leos, your superpower is stepping into this higher self version. It's a very spiritual home in the ninth house, and it is also a fun wish fulfillment house too. And it's something where you might go on spiritual retreats, you might learn more about spirituality here. You might take some long distance travel or learn the things that you want to do or teach the things that you want to teach and really like move forward with this. And it's important for you to allow yourself to shine a light on what is it I want to explore? What is it I want to learn? What is it that I want to do? Where is it that I want to go? Be it culturally, philosophically, spiritually, just all these different things here. And don't betray yourself by signing up for this course just because a friend's doing it and you have no interest in it, right? Or going on this retreat because this friend's doing it and you're like, I don't know. Or taking that trip because the rest of your family's doing that and you're like, I have no desire to go to that place, right? So don't betray yourself out of, self-sacrificing what it is that you want you do in order to make you happy at the end of the day. And really what you have to fight for is your own, what you are teaching and learning and even educating others on, or even if you feel like I can't be this person for you, like I can't educate you on this, like I don't have the energy, I don't have the capacity, I am drained here, okay? So that is a lesson to just pay attention to. And just to be like, this is not for me energetically, I don't need to be the teacher in this moment, this person, someone else can discuss this with them. And it might be dissolving, even like you might be done with a university, you might be letting go of something specifically, like maybe some sort of degree or field that you didn't want to go into anymore because your belief system has changed here. This could be releasing a lot of stuff in regards of just passed on beliefs as well. Or even, I was going to go on this trip and now I'm passing up on it because I don't want it here overall. And so it's best for you to have boundaries and really stick to them in this house specifically here, okay? I forgot to say this in Cancer, so my bad, but like what might dissolve in your career is also like releasing something that just no longer aligns to you. So, anywho, let's talk about Virgo Rising. So, this is the eighth house, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of a house, right? You have like occult wisdom, you have sex, you have taxes, you have other people's money, and you have secrets, mystery, and occult wisdom. So, it's like this could go all over the board for you Virgo risings here, okay? So this is something where your superpower, you have multiple. Your superpower is really being shined on, how you might be exploring your sexuality more, or occult wisdom more, or knowledge more, or taxes more, or how to use other people's money in order for you to win the game of life here, right? If there's some sort of like, if you work with the occult practices, astrology, Reiki, healing, whatever, psychology, mysteries of the universe, whatever you ascribe to, you might be like, all right, well, a lot of people have always been curious about this. I always get asked these questions. So maybe I'm going to say, hey, if other people want to come to this, maybe I will teach them some information on this. Maybe you'll be doing some more practices with that. And for others of you, this might be looking into like different types of hidden depths within your sexuality, the mysteries, the fantasies, the dreaming of it, with Neptune in the eighth house here, because that is potent overall. Neptune is fantasies. So you may be looking into that and exploring a little bit more about your sexuality overall. For others of you, like how not to betray yourself. Don't sacrifice your sexuality, your occult wisdom, your beliefs, or even your money for other people at this time. I do not recommend you giving away money to other people. And I really think it's important for you to assert yourself with boundaries in these areas of your life here and fight for that, because you're worth fighting for. And for you, Virgos, like you love helping, you love giving, you love all these things, and you're the sibling sign of Pisces, right? And so I think it's going to be good and maybe hard for you to really pay attention to that and do your shadow work around that specifically, because you know the answer, you want to jump in, you want to help people in all these different areas, and then you may feel kind of frustrated or critical if they don't actually take action on some of these things in life. And so this is something where I feel like it's important for you to look at that shadow if you're feeling frustrated, you are trying to martyrdom syndrome and save somebody, but then you get upset or potentially mad at them with some of these things. You might be dissolving a relationship in regards of like some sort of like tax agreement or some sort of thing with that sort. Like maybe it's okay, like I'm going to look at doing taxes differently in the future. I'm not going to do it this way anymore. You might be dissolving like your sexuality and it might change here in the future. You might be dissolving different types of occult practices, wisdom, knowledge that you use, and you're like, I don't vibe with this anymore. This is not mine. So you might be naturally getting rid of some stuff in those areas of your life. Libra, let's talk about you. So we kind of talked about how this is going to be difficult for you because Aries is your sibling sign. Aries is the me energy, Libras, you're the we energy, and you're going to have some tensions in your relationships because this is your 7th house of relationships, specifically of business partnerships, marriages, legal contracts, things of that sort here. And for you, Libra, now more than ever, you need to advocate for yourself in relationships. I'm going to say that again. Now more than ever, you need to advocate for yourself in relationships. And you might be thinking, why? Marriages, there might be certain things with Neptune that are hidden that are coming to light here, that this could be a dissolving of a marriage. Business partnerships, same things. People trying to maybe potentially pull the wool over your eyes and potentially take advantage of your giving nature because you are the we energy. Legal contracts, opportunities, reading the fine print, looking at everything, needing to advocate for what was written, what was negotiated, what was talking about, and really speaking up. I'm not kidding, Libra. You don't practice assertiveness, confidence, building your self-esteem at this time over the next 14 years and learning how to address and manage conflict. It is going to be a really rough 14 years for you. I'm not kidding. I'm not playing with you, Libras. I literally am trying to share this information so you know how to navigate this in the future, because you are so giving and because you are ruled by Venus and because you love to love people. This is something that you need to be very aware of. So your superpower that's getting, this light shined on, this could be taking more bold actions in relationships, being confident, being assertive, putting yourself out there, and not betraying yourself for other people's energies. So you have to really hone in on this opposite energy specifically when it comes to this of Aries, your sibling sign, and maybe be a little bit selfish, maybe say no to people or things. And a lot of you might just naturally have some relationships end here, and it could be because you finally fight for yourself. And if a relationship ends because you finally fight for yourself, you finally advocate for yourself, you finally speak the F up about how your parent, your sibling, your cousin, your friend, your business partner, your colleague, your coworker treated you and they don't like it, at least you spoke up for yourself. And that shows how they are treating you and potentially maybe other people in their life too, in their relationships. So astrologically, this is something where your superpower is really needing to step up more, address conflict, manage conflict, speak your truth. Everyone else in the collective gets to. Why not you? So again, with this energy of Neptune being martyrdom and the shadow of Libra is people pleasing, you really need to hone in on speaking up for yourselves and really not trying to save others. This is like kind of a double whammy in your house here. So I'm just trying to give you the information to prepare you. So really pay attention to how people might be deceiving you. Pay attention to how people show up around you. Pay attention to how people might take advantage of you. Pay attention to relationships that just don't feel like they're working anymore. Pay attention to moments that you are not speaking up. You're not advocating for yourself in the moment, in real time, teaching people how to treat you. Okay? Scorpio, this is going through your 6th house, which is more so the physical health. That is more so your routines. That is more so how you help others. So I know I said this with like Aries and like you might take up yoga or do certain things for the body, but you might also do that here too, because there is this Neptunian vibe and energy where you might do that. You might take up something specifically around your physical health and wellness here. And you might also be looking at helping others specifically. You might be looking at different types of, I don't like calling it diet, lifestyle, like, trends, fads, things of that sort here. And so the light that's being shined on this house in your superpower is really going to be around how it is you want to help yourself and then be able to help others, because it's in Aries first. So take care of me first. Put on my face mask before I go to work and I take care of you, right? So what are the different types of routines that are going to work out for you, that are going to be really established for you, that are going to make you feel good, and then be able to show up with others? And with this too, don't betray yourself by being like, F it, like I'll just take on this extra work and go into work early, even though like I didn't do my morning routine, I didn't meditate, I didn't journal, I didn't exercise, I didn't listen to my pump up music playlist, I didn't get grounded for the day, right? Because when you show up ungrounded, the day tends to go ungrounded. When you show up ungrounded, the day tends to go ungrounded. And so it's important for you, Scorpio risings, to really take care of yourself first, and then pay attention to how you might betray yourself here overall, especially with your health. Thinking also about like eating habits, everything like that too. And pay attention to fighting for yourself in these situations. And it's across different types of energies, be it workout, physical health, helping others, how you show up for others too. What might be dissolving could potentially be, you know, how you take on maybe others' responsibilities at works, or releasing of responsibilities. There's just this dissolving of potentially also releasing different types of routines that didn't work, and like starting fresh and starting new and giving yourself time to kind of set your footing with that, but not be so illusioned or disillusioned to the fact that like, oh, I'll start Monday, oh, I'll start Monday, oh, I'll start Monday, and then you're in the first year of Neptune and you didn't start Monday, right? So that's kind of like the shadow of it to pay attention to. Let me get some more water, y'all. The poppy's gone. We need the real water. Okay. Sagittarius risings. Let's talk about you. You're in the 5th house. This is fun. This is creative. This is dreamy. This is surprises. This is passion projects. This is hookups. This is fun stuff out there. And so your superpower is really going to be shining a light on your creativity, shining your light on romance, maybe even date nights, maybe even dating people, partner, spouses, whatever it might be. Oh gosh, I notice I'm glitching. Am I still good, y'all, in the chat? Do we know? I'm going to pause and kind of see. Hopefully I'm still good. I don't know what's happening. If anyone's in the chat, can you let me know if you can still hear me, still see me? It's very odd and weird. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. This is goofy. So Sagittarius rising, this is your superpower, is shining a light on your creativity, on what it is that you want to do. It is also an entrepreneurial house here, so you might be doing some things with entrepreneurship, working different jobs, working different places, spaces, creating your own thing, doing something that you're passionate for yourself in work here. And this can also be creating different fun date nights, dreamy experiences here too. So how not to betray yourself when it comes to, if you do end up taking entrepreneurial routes or experiences, don't play yourself by doing something because someone else wants you to do that. Do it because you want to do it here, okay? And really take the lead on your passion projects and tell people know about this. I would also say if you are starting up like some sort of business or entrepreneur endeavor here specifically, it's going to be important your boundaries around work and romance. Let me say that again, work and romance. You're going to need to be able to go on your date nights with people or partners or spouses or whatever it might be here, as well as take time for you to hone in on these entrepreneurial pursuits, or even creativity, or even like painting, or even doing art, or doing writing, or doing vlogging, or doing blogging, whatever here, okay? Don't save others by saying, Okay, I'll take on that for this teamwork or whatever. If you're going into some sort of new brand, new entrepreneurial business adventure opportunity, and then you end up taking on 70% of the work, and then like this other person's doing 30%, and it's unbalanced and it's not necessarily fair. So advocate for yourself in those situations. Also, flipped energies in the reverse with partner spouses here too. This is something for you to be able to also like create like this kind of dream life energy and vibe around romance and passion projects and entrepreneurship stuff, everything like that. And it's also some sort of wish fulfillment. For others of you, this could also be something new with like children, maybe kids. Maybe you're thinking about this. Maybe you've been clouded in the last 14 years of like Neptune and Pisces. Like, I don't really know if I want kids, but I'll figure it out. And maybe you do. Or maybe it's like, you know, the whole new birth is something like that. We're just birthing something into existence here overall. So pay attention to maybe releasing outdated ideals or wishes or the dreams or the things that you thought once were that are no longer anymore. Okay. Capricorn Rising. So let's talk about this. I'm one of you. So Capricorn Risings represent, boo. This is going through our fourth house, which is literally the house of like home life, mother, you know, the moon. And this is like parents are dealing with the past. It's not a fun house. I'm not going to lie. It's living elsewhere. And this could also be like finding a home or even moving back to a home or a place or a space or whatever. And so the light that's being shined onto our fourth house and our superpower is literally also going to similarly be like the Libra house, not saving family members, not saving people from the past from maybe mistakes they made, or maybe not saving them from like they want to take action on these goals and these dreams, and maybe you've done that thing and they try to ask you for help with this, but then they don't actually take that. It's not giving into that. It's just holding space for that. And so for a lot of you, this could be dealing with past life karma. This could be dealing with generational trauma. This could be generational patterns, wounding patterns here of things where, you know, there could even just be family members projecting certain stuff onto you the next 14 years. And you're really going to have to set your limits with these people, these family members, or people that feel like family, but they're not blood related. And this is something where you're going to have to balance out how much you can actually energetically show up for that person when they won't show up for themselves. And you might know, because it's like your sibling sign house here, how to be the boss, how to be the leader, how to do these things, how to take action, right? Because the 10th house is you and this is your Cancer sibling sign, that house. So like opposite energy. And so you might be feeling potentially frustrated with people who don't do these things. And it's something where you have to pay attention to that and also say like, no. I'm not digging them out of this hole. Like this family member did this thing or this chosen family member did this thing. It is not for me to energetically pick up here. It's for me to put down and set that aside. What dissolves, this could also be, you know, dissolving of relationships, chosen family, biological family, friendships who are family. Like this is something where with Neptune and Aries and Neptune and Pisces previously, like you could have had a lot of people that you should kind of let things go with Neptune and Pisces, whatever. And Neptune and Aries is telling you like, no, like who actually gets to be a part of your home spiritually, mentally, emotionally, just everything. Like who actually gets to be part of you, Capricorn, you know? And I feel like this is you taking this leadership role and this advocating for yourself of saying, hey, you haven't been here in a while, or hey, you need to check in on me too, or hey, this is something that I don't always want to be coming to this home, this space, this place with family and experiencing fill in the blank here. So it's about really advocating for that peace of mind and well-being as it comes to family relationship and issues or things of that sort. Aquarius Rising. So this is going through your third house of community, communication, short trips, cars. This is like think, write, share, do, neighborhood, spots, places, spaces, and this could also be potentially you learning something new here, with this being the Gemini house, which is like the student, the learner, wanting to potentially, your superpower really is going to be learning, but I see you more so learning in a community place or setting or with people that you know around where it is that you live, your home, everything like that. Like this is short spaces and places. You might be meeting groups up, but this is also Aquarius Risings. You might also be connecting with people just in the local communities about things, but more so spiritual alignment. Like you might be learning, excuse me, y'all, the carbonation. from the poppies. Whew, you might be learning things such as like divination tools. You might be going to secret seances. You may be going to learn astrology. You might be learning tarot. You may be learning something new here that really gives you this sense of like spiritual power and purpose. And this could also be you potentially writing some things online with this experience of that. This could be you sharing and indulging in like a spiritual community, putting it out there, searching that for online websites and things of that sort. And you might probably meet a lot of people up like the next 14 years and really do some of this stuff. What is important for you, don't betray yourself by not keeping those plans on the calendar, especially if this is something that you've been craving. People that have the same values as you, people that have worked on their spirituality, their mindset, like their emotions, just everything. Like when you just find those spiritual souls and you're just like, oh my God, you feel like home. You might literally be finding someone, Aquarius Rising, that just like feels like home to you. It's really like that cheesy song, like feels like home to me, but you're like, wow, I've known you before. I feel like I've known you before, potentially. And this is just something where I feel like you're going to be receiving a lot of great blessings around this sort of spiritual community and sense of people. What could be dissolving? This is also like the house of like siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles. Like you might be dissolving some relationships with that. You might be dissolving a relationship with, a local yoga studio, a local gym, a local, restaurant that you always go to, but then you're like, I don't even like this anymore. Like just dissolving, going to those places specifically, and it's kind of like rebuilding new ones that feel better to you, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can describe it, that are within your local community here. So you might be really releasing some things, and make sure that you're setting boundaries and you're not saving those really close family members, friends, communities, specifically siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, cousins, nephews, just things of that sort. Some of that is probably going to dissolve, and a lot more is going to be this very beautiful sense of just like connectedness of people that you really vibe with, which I love for you. Pisces, last but not least, thank you all for making it through this video with me and your support in the chat too. But Pisces, this is going to go through your second house. So this is your self-worth, self-esteem, your money, your love, what you seek pleasure in. And it's also like money may feel like it's not necessarily clear. You might need to meditate, do many mindset meditations, visualizations, or self-love, or building self-esteem or abundance, and really like learning what your values are and what it is you do value. And what might dissolve here is you might release certain things. You might let go of certain things. You might sell certain things from home, or things that just you don't love or it doesn't give you pleasure or joy anymore. What could also dissolve is this outdated way of maybe not feeling like you have a lot of self-worth or self-esteem or confidence here. And this is something where you might be like, wow, I really need to work on this. Wow, I really want to work on this. Wow, I want to level up here. And getting clear mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually on all these different areas. So your superpower and the light that's being shined on is really like self-love, but also self-love in the sense of how it is you do show up for yourself, not what it is that you buy for yourself. Let me say that again. Self-love with how it is that you do show up for yourself, not self-love with what it is that you buy for yourself. And so this is something where it's like short-term things maybe stuck, just is outdated. You want to release, you want to let go of some of that. Make sure you don't betray yourself by maybe purchasing small tangible items rather than potentially bigger investments that'll pay out long term. And you might be like, what does that mean? Are you working with a self-esteem coach? Are you working with a self-love coach? Are you working on self-confidence? Whatever. And it's kind of like the energy of like, oh, are you buying 100 books on those different areas of your life? Or are you actually like investing and showing up and working with maybe a mentor or a guide, one-to-one, whatever it might be here? But then you have these 100 books that you never touch, you never read, they carry dust, and you're like, I just need to get rid of this. This is going to Goodwill or whomever, a friend, or releasing it. And so for you, that could be an area of self-betrayal. This could also be self-betrayal with some sort of love story or narrative that things are so much better than it seems, and maybe they actually aren't. And this could also be spirit, universe, source, astrology, God, whatever you believe in, kind of pushing you forward to maybe see clearly and take leadership of action or a role of if this relationship is right for you, if this love partner is right for you, if you take pleasure in the things that you once did anymore. And some of those things might naturally just walk away. Walk away. Nice. Wash away, y'all. And so it's important to not do things because of the love that you have so much for others and betray yourself because you don't want to do those things. You don't want to invest in those things. You don't take pleasure in those things. Like, that is such a big one here for our Pisces risings overall. And so really fight for what it is that you value. Fight for what it is that you want to spend money on. Fight for what it is that you really want to hone in on for your self-love, your self-esteem, and nurture that growth. And it's really all about this pleasure type of vibe and energy here. So Shameless Squad, that was like 11 pages of things that I wanted to talk to you all about. If you found value in this, please hit the like button here on this video. It's completely free to you. I am sharing with you so much information, and I would appreciate that so much. That's so important to me that you resonate with these messages. You like these messages. You want me to keep doing this stuff here on my channel. As well as if there's just something where you're like, yes, this is it. This makes so much sense here, Jackie. Then definitely hit the like button, help the channel grow. It is completely free to you so much. Thank you all for all your likes, subscribes, donations, comments, everybody being so supportive in the chat here too. I love all of you. And if you are watching the replay back, thank you for smashing the like button. I appreciate you. Definitely share this with a friend or rewatch all the different things that, if you're tuning in later, like watch the replay back and listen to this for as much as you need. Like, this is literally a long time that these energies are going to be present and they're going to be here. And you might have some of these shocking aha moment revelations where you're like, oh my gosh, Jackie experienced this with Neptune and Aries, and I experienced that with Neptune and Aries. So I would just love for you to always come back, share your confirmations or what resonates with you, or if how these things are playing out for you. And if you have any idea how it's showing up for you in your birth chart too. So Shameless Squad, this was a long one, and definitely always feel free to speed me up in this video too if you come back and watch it again, boo. But I appreciate you all. I love you all. Make sure to smash subscribe, especially if you are new. I see 5,000 of you checking out my channel here, and definitely always look at the shorts daily for astrology, because that is for general collective, just what's going on in the sky. And I would just appreciate that so much for you to check in on your soul care too. So I love you, and as always, stay tuned for more. Stay shameless.